But before we even promote why we're going to create a national marine sanctuary, we have to say what is significant at a national level. So how do we project who Hawaii is to the rest of the world, and what do we want to tell them about our special place here in the islands? Okay, there's another really important piece about this piece of legislation, the National Marine Sanctuaries Act. It is saying, because we work with the Department of Commerce, we are required to facilitate all private and public uses to the extent that it's compatible with the primary purpose of resource protection. So in our draft environmental impact statement, we've done an analysis. The reason you see fishing in there over 200 times, because we made a determination analysis of what are the impacts of fishing, okay? I'm going to tell you now that 90% of all sanctuary waters across the country are open to fishing. It's not our intention to regulate fishing. I just want to state the facts. 96% of all sanctuary waters are open to fishing. Because of this clause right here, okay? Okay, this is a map of where all the sanctuaries occur. And I'm pointing this out for a couple of reasons, just to highlight what's happening out here in the Pacific. We've got the National Marine Sanctuary of American Samoa. I know there's been a lot of questions about that. Happy to answer any questions after public comment. I will answer any questions that you have about some of the things that I'm presenting. We also have Papahanaumokuakea in the Leeward Islands, created under President Bush as a marine national monument. Very different model, not a sanctuary. They closed everything down except that which is specifically allowed by a permit. As a national marine sanctuary, everything is allowed except the very few things that we close off. It's a very different process. Now, the other thing to let you know is that Congress last year in June of 2014 opened up a new process where communities across the country can begin to self-identify new sanctuaries. There's been a moratorium on creating sanctuaries across the country. That's why we only have 14 here. We are seeing communities raise their hands and say, we have special places and we want to develop programs of increase of protection. You're going to see new sanctuaries come around across the country. Now, just sharing that with you because I think Hawaii should be on the map. I think Hawaii has significant resources that we want to make sure are protected in a culturally appropriate way. Just my opinion, but that's what I'm hearing also across the state. Okay, so let's move forward. What about the Hawaiian Islands National Marine Sanctuary? We are the only site in the system of 14 sites around the country that protect a single species. That's what Congress created it as in 1992. With Senator Inouye and Senator Kaka's staff, they worked on the legislation to create this sanctuary, and they said, we're going to make you a humpback whale sanctuary for now. Your focus is to protect the humpback whales and their habitat in the Hawaiian Islands. But they also put in language there that said at some point in the future, you should add additional resources. Because we think that a national marine sanctuary can protect more things. So just to give you a little bit of history, we've got some state people in the room to remind you. 1992, the sanctuary was created. Signed off by then Governor Cayetano in 1998. We did our first management plan review in 2002, and we had an action plan in there that said, we think we're going to add additional resources. This was back in 2002. In 2007, we submitted a report to then Governor Linda Lingle and said, here are the new species and habitats we think that are worthy of national and state protection. Linda Lingle, Governor then Linda Lingle provided us a letter. It's all on our website that says she supports the process. In 2012, when we started this process, we received a letter from then Governor Neil Abercrombie, who said, we support the concept on the process of the sanctuary to consider adding additional resources. So fast forward to where we are today. Okay, and this is really the process we're about to lead you through. This is what our boundaries look like. Currently, we have protected areas on 5 different islands where people live, where humpback whales prefer to mate and calve. So a couple things to point out. We go out to 600 feet. So really it's a shallow water around several of the islands. And it goes up to the highest wash of the wave, all the way out to 600 feet. So I also want to mention, I've referred to the state several times, that these waters are co-managed by the state of Hawaii and NOAA through the Office of National Marine Sanctuaries. They signed on to co-manage it. That means no matter where you are, whether you're in state waters or federal waters, as a sanctuary, we're going to co-manage to protect these. So the state has jurisdiction in federal waters, and we, through co-managing with DLNR at this point in time, have protections potentially in state waters. That's just the compact agreement. It's been on the books for the last 2 decades. So when you talk about federal jurisdiction and overreach of the federal government, can I just remind you that we already co-manage these waters. This is already an agreement on the books. Okay, so let's get to why we're here tonight. Thank you for allowing me to give you some background. I thought it was important. So what is a sanctuary management plan review? This is something that, again, we're required by law. Our National Marine Sanctuaries Act says that periodically you need to review your management and make sure that you're staying relevant with current and emerging issues. I will submit back in 1992, we were in a very different place than where we are today. We are seeing, just from where I sit as a superintendent of the sanctuary, a lot of new proposals that propose to install very large structures out there. There's been the potential for deep sea mining. There's also other species, perhaps spinner dolphins, that might need more protections. And I know there's not a lot of people that agree with that. I'm stating what we've been hearing, what we potentially could be hearing. There are cultural resources that are alongside the coast that are very important to the people of Hawaii. And of course, coral. So I think that the opportunity to address here so that people can fish and play and work in. So that's a fundamental part of what National Marine Sanctuaries do. And then finally, consistently, you know this, it's happening on Hawaii, there are communities who are managing their own resources. They're saying, don't do anything without understanding what we're doing and give us a role so that we can be involved. We feel, as a federal government, in partnership with the state as a co-manager, we feel it's really important that the community self-identify and demonstrate the ability to manage your own resources. We will meet you halfway. We're not going to come in and tell you what to do, but if you organize yourself, we will meet you halfway and get you there. Okay, so now I'm going to not go through this except, I'm going to go through these issues more in the next slide. Through public scoping, we've identified from communities across the state, through a lot of submissions, what are the priority issues we'll be dealing with. So let me take a minute to describe. We have a very active Sanctuary Advisory Council. All volunteers representing different stakeholders, citizens, groups across every island has their own representation. This is a bigger slide of all the issues that came up during public scoping. Climate change, protections for the ecosystems, whether it be species or habitats. We need more enforcement, we need less enforcement. Humpback whales are already protected, there's too many of them, they're in our way. Or humpback whales need more protections. And what is the sanctuary is not doing anything to protect them. They need more protection. I'm giving you both sides of the story because I'm not waiting and making a judgment on what we heard. I'm just giving you the facts. We've heard that there's a lot of historic resources out there, submerged shipwrecks. We've partnered with the Navy. These are historic resources that need to be understood and managed in a way that they're not salvaged and destroyed. We talked about the native Hawaiian culture, ocean literacy, offshore development. What about those big aquaculture plans that are being proposed for Maui Nui? What about all the big energy initiatives that could be happening out in the offshore environment? But what I really want to highlight for you is water quality. No matter if you're a fisherman, if you're a surfer, if you just take your family out there, everybody is worried about water quality. And so they asked us, what can the sanctuary do on these issues? So I'm walking you through this process, and believe me, I'm going to get to what we're proposing, but I want you to understand, we didn't make this up on our own. We tried to respond to what people told us was important to them.
What about the fishermen? There's 9 councils. What was the fishing council?
Thank you for that question. I'm not normally going to ask questions, but that's a good question. So I'm going to answer you. We felt that fishing emerged as such an important issue that every single one of those working groups had to take the comments from fishing. So this is the highest level of the issues that we received. Every single one of these working groups had to take the fishing comments and consider it relative to each of these issues. It's not that we didn't give it a specific fishing working group. We wanted every working group to think about each of these issues relative to fishing. Okay? All right, so just I want to acknowledge our advisory council. They spent a year on this process. They formed working groups. Several people in here were part of those working groups. They met on a regular basis. They spent a year on this. They produced 9 working groups. They produced, I'll give you the updated number, but at the time we counted 150 recommendations of what they think the sanctuary should do relative to those issues. Spent a huge amount of time on this. I can't be more grateful for the work they did. They helped us define the issues and helped us frame it in a way that made it clear what they thought the sanctuary could do to address these issues. All right, so now let's get to the proposal. Okay, I want you to understand. Now, the state has been involved. The state helped to lead a lot of these working groups. We had state staff in each of these working groups. State helped us go through some of these comments to help deal with it. But where we started to separate out, and that's why it's a NOAA-only proposal, is what do we do with the recommendations? So at this point in time, we took those recommendations and divided into the overall framework of how to manage the sanctuary, what specific activities we could do, what kind of regulations, does it make sense? The last thing we want to do is regulations, but if we need to, we have the authority to do it. And finally, how would that affect the boundaries? Okay, so this is what we did with them. We revised the goals. We're no longer a sanctuary just about protecting humpback whales. We have much broader goals, and I think you can see that they actually are based on new values using traditional Hawaiian values. We revised the vision and mission, and I encourage you to look at that and give us feedback. Does that make sense? Does it resonate? Is it how you want your federal government working with the state to spend its time? Is that a good use of tax dollars? I'm not going to answer. So the other thing I want to point out that we have sanctuary-wide regulations. Remember the map I showed you? There's another map standing over by Linda. Paul Long was showing that to you. We have a really big area we cover. We do not have the resources or the staff to do everything everywhere. In our proposal, we've got some things that will go sanctuary-wide, but really the core of our proposal is something we're calling sanctuary focus areas. There are 4 of them that we're proposing. Targeted programs to demonstrate different capabilities of what the sanctuary can do. Okay, we have sanctuary-wide regulations. I'm going to spend 2 slides talking about regulations so we're absolutely clear what we mean about cremation and ashes. A lot of confusion about that. I want to clear that up tonight. We also have very targeted regulations in certain areas of the sanctuary. I will tell you now that none of these areas are in Kauai County. Okay, we're not proposing them for Kauai County. Okay, and finally, we've made some changes to our boundaries. There are changes in Kauai County. I want to walk you through them. What is the new approach to management? Okay, 4 alternatives in our draft environmental impact statement. Okay, there are 4 different alternatives. 3 of the 4 are proposing a new approach to management. What is that new approach? We are saying that the National Marine Sanctuary in the Hawaiian Islands can transition from just protecting humpback whales to using our authority in partnership with the state to do more things, okay? I've got a couple of slides about ecosystem-based management. It's a buzzword, I know, so please allow me to walk you through it. We have made water quality a highlight of what we think the sanctuary can do with communities across the state. We've also highlighted certain species that we think they're already protected and how can they benefit from the National Marine Sanctuary. And there are corals and other habitats that are so important to maintaining the health of the ecosystem. You all know here in Hawaii, we cannot lose our coral reefs. So what role can we play in bringing NOAA assets and expertise to partner with the state and many other agencies and communities to make sure we don't lose what's so precious to Hawaii? Okay, really important message. If you didn't get it, I'm highlighting it here. We are not closing off any areas of the sanctuary. Most of you, and I say most of you because I assume most of you are recreational, even commercial folks, can continue doing what you're doing. We are managing a multiple use sanctuary. We're not closing off any areas. Okay, this is what the cover of our plan looks like. I've seen several of you with it. It came out a month ago. We've got a whole new focus. Well, it's a redefined focus. I've talked to you quite a bit. We're looking at the Hawaiian Islands and the people who are connected to the place as a potential cultural landscape. Unlike anywhere else in the United States, we have a prominent active culture where people's livelihood depend on the health of the ocean. We think that's an important message that everyone who comes to visit Hawaii, whether it's from around the world or from the United States, need to understand that we want to perpetuate the host indigenous culture. We want to perpetuate traditional and customary practices. This is the core of who people are. What does it mean to transition towards sustainability? And I talk about sanctuary focus areas. And finally, there's going to be a lot of comments tonight about why the sanctuary, why not other management agencies, and what value do we bring. So we have a whole section devoted in our proposal about ensuring that we're effective in our management, we're leveraging our resources, we're leveraging and cooperating with other agencies. Okay, this is important for all of those out there that follow the National Historic Preservation Act. The whole aspect of Section 106, we've been hearing it in communities across the state. Hans von Tilburg, our maritime archaeologist, is leading this process for us. As a federal agency, we want to make sure that our actions are not impacting any cultural resources. And if you have thoughts about that, there's an opportunity through this public comment period to provide comment, and then we will complete our 106 process, which ends up with a programmatic agreement with the State Historic Preservation Division to make sure that they understand what our proposals are, and most importantly, to make sure that we are not impacting cultural resources or actions. In my personal opinion, I think we're enhancing it, but this is an important process for us to document. Okay, so all public comments regarding historic properties are welcome. Okay, let's get down to where we are on this island. I hope that you knew our current sanctuary boundaries shown in red are on the north shore of Oahu, nowhere else. So anything that we're proposing in our proposed management plan is only within sanctuary waters, okay? Maybe you like that, maybe you don't. That's what we want to hear. Current sanctuary boundaries. What do the new boundaries look like? So it's hard to see, but I'm going to walk you coming down from the southeast, moving northwest. The first boundary change, no changes for Hawaii Island, no changes for Maui Nui. I will say a couple things. Every boundary change that we have in our proposal came from a request from a community. We received a lot of requests, not all of them are here. We received a request to include all of Maui Island in the sanctuary. We did not feel that this is the time to do that. We received a request to include Kaula Rock in the sanctuary. For a lot of reasons, what all of you know, we don't think that meets the criteria of national significance. We don't think the resources around Kaula are currently worthy of national protection because of all the other activities that are going there. But we do feel that the requests that we received on the north shore of Oahu, and it's shown down here in this inset, currently our sanctuary boundary ends right at Ali'i Beach Park. We received a request from the community to please pull the boundaries out past Haleiwa Harbor. So let me tell you, currently and in the future, all harbors are excluded from the sanctuary. We feel that the Department of DOBAR, Department of Transportation at the state, does a very good job, and we cannot improve that or nor can we bring added value. All harbors are excluded from sanctuary water. So this new harbor. Okay, now this is really what you want to know. North shore of Hawaii, we're proposing 2 boundary changes, and it's highlighted here. Currently, our boundary on the east side ends at Kilauea Point. We're proposing, and I'll describe to you why, shifting our boundaries down to the Pila'a reefs, so several Apupua over, and I'll show you on another map exactly where that is. We received a request from Dr. Carlos Andrade of the Center of Hawaiian Studies at the time he was the chair. And I'll explain that to you, but I just want to ground it in the fact that we are making incremental changes to our boundaries where it makes sense to do programs and projects on the ground. The other proposal is here, and I think I'm going to actually walk you through a bigger map. So here, this is Pila'a. Here is several Apupua over. So the question that was asked to us in a formal letter, I think it's on our website. I'm pretty sure the letter's on the website. You can also get it if you're interested. The question came, rather than just protecting and closing things down, can the sanctuary actually work on a restoration project? We said, well, what do you have in mind? We were told that there are several Kuleana plots in Pila'a where there are, they have passed down generationally the knowledge about how to care for this reef. So rather than promoting this concept that Native Hawaiians only take and harvest, they understood how to care for the reef to keep it healthy. So they would reseed and cultivate that reef with limu kohu, in a way that kept that reef healthy. So they said, would you work with us to demonstrate that Hawaiians understood how to manage their reefs, and can you merge it with modern day management and get students out there? Kauai Community College stepped up, and UH Manoa in Oahu has agreed to provide students out there. We can use this as a model of restoration for integrating traditional ways of management. So that's Pila'a. Just so you know, this is right out of our GIS. These are the benthic maps. Wonder what else is in this area. Okay, so the next boundary change is Kauai and the Haena. So all of you have been following the Haena community-based assistance fishery proposed rules. So this is the area that was recently passed, or I guess signed off, and DLR led a very open process to make sure everyone had an opportunity to weigh in. Our current boundaries cut the Haena Ahupua'a in half. We aligned with the wrong ridge. We received a request from the Haena community specifically saying, please be culturally appropriate. If you're going to really manage these waters, at least align your boundary with the real Ahupua'a boundary. We said, yes, that makes sense. We can do that. That's our proposal. Okay, so there's another boundary proposal that's also on the North Shore. When I mentioned that the landward side of our boundary goes up to the highest wash of the wave, all of you know that on the North Shore with the high surge and the high waves, there's a saltwater intrusion that goes all the way up, actually up to the Hanalei Refuge. These numbers here show parts per million of how much salt water is found in the river. And you know, there are turtles that are found here, there are papio, there are species that use this as a nursery that live out here in the bay. So the proposal came to us from the Hanalei watershed hui to basically say, could you include the Hanalei River into the sanctuary? One could argue that it's already part of the sanctuary because the highest wash of the wave goes up here, but we're making a formal request to be fully transparent. That's a proposal that we'd like your input on. We also heard from the North Shore when we were there on Oahu a couple of nights ago. They want the sanctuary to go all the way up to the river too. So it's not the only proposal we're hearing from Hawaii. Okay, a couple more slides and then we really are going to hear from you. But you need to understand the difference between sanctuary focus areas and special sanctuary management areas. A couple of them are here, sanctuary focus areas, and let me walk you through what those are. The difference between the two, I talked about a lot of programs that NOAA can do in partnership with the state that we can do that do not require regulations. We do not want to be a regulatory agency. Our staff are saying we do programs, we like doing programs. We feel we can be most effective working with communities and putting programs on the ground. So sanctuary focus areas are programmatic. Special sanctuary management areas are regulatory. This kind of shows you the ratio in our proposal. The majority of what we're proposing is programmatic in nature. However, we do have some special sanctuary management areas, but where are the focus areas? 4 total in the whole plan. One at Niihau. I think I forgot to mention that. I'm so sorry. Kind of important. You can see it here in Waimea. So sorry. I forgot the map here. So in 2012, when the state of Hawaii was following and being involved in our process, and they wanted to meet their HRS 343 needs, they came on as a joint lead of our process. They ran a public comment period in 2012. They said, what do you think about the state being part of this process, and tell us what your concerns are. We received a petition from the residents of Niihau and the friends of Niihau, a total of, Leah's in the back of the room, maybe over 200 signatures total, that requested that the waters around Niihau be included in the National Sanctuary. So that's part of our proposal. The total amount a boundary change that we're proposing is about 16% total, if you include the waters of Niihau. So that is part of our proposal. So what are we proposing for Niihau? Okay, sorry. What we're proposing for Niihau, no regulations. Anyone who's operating a tour boat, anyone who's fishing out there can continue to do it. What we are proposing is that Niihau is a special place, and we're making a cultural argument for this place. While Niihau has a lot of different resources, it's the people and what they're doing there with their traditional customary practice that we feel needs to be protected and preserved. So that's something that we're putting in there. Excuse me? Are you going to give me comment later? You know what? I will answer all the questions you want. I want to stop talking so I can hear from you. And then please give me your comment. Or ask me later. Okay.
People from Niihau gave you a petition into the whole island. You said 5,000 people signed up a petition. No, they delivered by hand 7,000 counted as one.
So want to answer your question, but I have to move on. So people, okay. So talk about law. Okay. I don't want to lose you. Jean wants to talk. Let's have some courtesy.
Let's have some courtesy, please.
And be honest.
The process is, Malia wants to finish her presentation. Then we have folks that have signed up to testify. Then if there is time and you still are interested and you have unanswered questions, Malia will answer that after the public testimony. It is counterproductive to interrupt the presentation because we want to get to the testimony part. If you have questions, you can sign up to testify and ask your questions there.
Thank you, James. No, I commit to answering questions after the public testimony. All right, where are the special, this is what you care about. I've been hearing all of your concerns. You care about regulations. Let me tell you where we're proposing targeted regulations. Penland Banks, the federal waters of Maui Nui, we define that as areas outside of 3 miles. And then Mauna Lua Bay. This is the only place in state waters that we're proposing specific targeted regulations. Okay, so what do those look like? This is just a map to remind you. Penland Banks is a Moku of Molokai. The Maui Nui area is areas outside between the Kauai Isles. And of course, Mauna Lua Bay from Poco Head out to Diamond Head. All right. So what do the regulations look like? We have regulations on the books now that currently mimic other authority regulations. We just like the approach rules. The Endangered Species Act has it. The state of Hawaii currently has this regulation. So does the sanctuary. We are often called the Me Too sanctuary because we mimic others. So if you tell me about don't avoid duplication, we are already duplicating other people's authority. And I can go down the list. I'll pull out this one because there's a lot of confusion about discharging material within the sanctuary or altering the seafloor of the sanctuary. We currently have this regulation on the books. I'm sorry, Greg. You want to come closer? Okay, thank you for letting me know. So, we currently have these regulations on the book. The difference is right now, it's tied to other people's authority. So, it would be a violation of a sanctuary regulation if you violate someone else's permit. So we, in our attempt to be clean about what we're doing, we are proposing that we disconnect these regulations, and this is what we're proposing moving forward. So let me just go to the discharging within the sanctuary. Can you hear me, Greg? Okay. We are saying in the special sanctuary management areas only, Penland Banks, Maui Nui, Mauna Lua Bay, it would be a violation to discharge from within the sanctuary. So what we mean by that is very specifically, the state has a regulation. All you boat operators know this. You cannot discharge treated sewage in the sanctuary. You have to use a marine sanitation device type 2. We are just saying, for the federal waters in the sanctuary, we want consistent protections throughout it. We are taking the state reg and moving it to federal waters, with the exception of Mauna Lua, okay? Now, at some point, people got confused about ashes. We have, across the country, a category called a special use permit. And the reason Annie Salabini was reminding me that you would need a special use permit to do cremations if you have numbers greater than, like a big group. Yes. So we have a full exemption within our regulations that say if you are discharging anything related to ceremonial purposes, including ashes, you can do it. You don't need a permit from us. So where that got confused, I'm not sure. But I needed to say that. It's a little frustrating. All right, so discharging from outside the sanctuary. A lot of people don't understand this one. If something happens from outside the sanctuary, whether it be on land or in areas outside of the waters, and comes in and damages the sanctuary resource, posting everything within the boundaries and comes to sanctuary resource, you could be held accountable for that. Sanctuary waters are trying to protect habitats and species. So it is rude when something happens that damages the sanctuary resources. Why is this different from the current Office of Conservation Coastal Lands protections? Our fines at the federal level are much higher than the state. Lawyers can choose which one they want to prosecute against, and more importantly, all funds assessed from the fines go back into funding sanctuary programs here in Hawaii. That's part of our National Marine Sanctuary Act. They don't go into some big black box, they fund sanctuary programs. Okay, I just also want to point out 4 alternatives. I've mentioned to you what our preferred management alternative is. This was very carefully negotiated with the state of Hawaii. They wanted to make sure that we would only propose things that now let me say, it's a past administration, okay? We have a new governor, we have a new chair. It's a whole new day there. But at the time when we developed this, they said that these are the only things that we would agree to that you go out and get public comment on. The last one is what we negotiated. So what if people want more than that? So we put in, because they said, yeah, let's hear what people have to say. We put in an alternative 4. What if all these different protections apply to other areas in the sanctuary, not just the 3 that I mentioned? Again, the preferred is 3 areas, potentially can happen others. Already communities are saying, we want some of these protections in our place too. The reason for the no altering of the seafloor bed, altering of the submerged lands, we talked about big structures coming in here. We don't think it's appropriate to do deep sea mining in sanctuary waters. This prohibition prevents that. Okay? All right. Okay, last couple slides. We're going to change our name. We're not just going to be the Hawaiian Islands Humpback Whale Sanctuary. Our proposed name is the Hawaiian Islands National Marine Sanctuary, and it's in the Kauai. We want to root the sanctuary in place and connect people around the world to understand who we are as a people and project to them what we think is important. Of course, you know, the sea, the 8 seas, right? So we're talking about the area of the Hawaiian Islands down here where people live. Okay, where are we in our process? I mentioned to you our proposal came out on March 20th. We're doing a round of statewide public hearings. This is number 9 of 12. We've got 1 more tomorrow night in Lihuli and 2 more on the Big Island. We've been taking input from communities across the state. We're committed to going out and hearing from all of you. End of the public comment period is June 19th. So we're talking about 5 or 6 weeks from now. So you don't have to give comment tonight. If you need to understand more what we're saying, contact Jean or Ann. They're happy to meet with you. You can think about it, and then you can give comment. And I'll tell you the different ways you can do it. So finally, what are we going to do with all this information that we get from all of you? We are going to pull it together and try. First of all, we will respond to every single comment. We're required to do that as part of the NEPA process. But we're also, most importantly, are going to sit down with the governor's office and all relevant state agencies who will be involved in this. And we're going to say, this is what the people are saying. What does the state want to do? What should NOAA do? What should we do together? I very strongly feel at the end of 5 years of doing this, that people no longer want to accept the status quo. They are seeing resources change before them. Maybe you do. Tell us that too. But I am convinced that people are self-organizing in a way because they care about these waters and they expect the government to do something where it can and when it can. Whether it be the state, the county, or the federal government. I see a lot of shaking your head. Totally respect your position. Totally respect your position. Make sure you provide public comment on that. So what happens after that? We've got about a year. It's a long discussion, okay? We're going to give it the time it needs. I put 2016 up there. It might be 2017. But please know that anything that we end up with will be approved by the governor's office for state waters. We cannot go this alone. We do not want to go this alone. We want there to be engagement from communities, the state, and the county. You all know that's the only way it's going to work here. All right, so here we are at the time where we sit and listen to you. Now, you're going to have a lot of questions. I will write them down and try to answer them later. But we're entering the period of the formal public hearing process where we are going to video record all the comments that come up. So all the people that couldn't make it here, or the people who not even want to know what you said, we will post every single one of these videos to our website. Where we can, we'll get it onto public television. But most importantly, for all the state staff and maybe even the governor who wants to hear, has the opportunity that this will be video recorded. So just full disclosure, you're going to be on videotape. Every speaker, please come forward. We'll have a microphone here. And the reason it's so carefully positioned and aligned with tape, we want to get you on that video recorder so that people can hear directly from you and not believe what I say. So you'll be given the same amount of time. We've got a lot of people who've signed up. I glanced at the list. A lot of people have signed up. So please respect the fact that a lot of people have something to say. And so what we're going to do is time you. And so we have a system. When the green card is up, you can speak for whether it will tell you how much time. But when it comes close to wrapping up, we're going to give you a yellow card. Yep. Start wrapping up, okay? If there's time, we want you to come back up, but we just need to get through all of the comments. Then finally, when your time is up, we're going to give a red card. And I'm not going to be shy in asking you to please wrap up so that we can either answer questions or come back later, okay? So now, this is also important. It's not your only chance to give us public comment. We'd love to hear from you. We have a Hawaiian humpbackwhale.noaa.gov website. There's a big button. You can't miss it on our homepage. Submit comments here. When you press that button and type in your comment or upload a set of written comments, that goes to a big website that the White House manages called www.regulations.gov. Everybody can see in real time what people are saying. On the issue of transparency, all comments get posted on that website. You can use the old-fashioned way. You can call us, you can email us, you can give us a letter. Okay? All right, contact information. So with that, can we please see the list of folks who signed up? How many people? We have about 45. All right. Okay, 40 people have signed up. So what we'd like you to do when your name is called, we've got your list here. Please come up to the microphone. And write your comments. I'm going to call the first speaker up. So let me remind you that we are at 5 featured speakers. That's very full house. First speaker. Every speaker has 3 minutes to speak, and if there's time, we'll bring you back up. There's another way to get comments. There's a box. Where's the box? Oh, okay. Sorry, girl. Every speaker has 3 minutes to talk. Please be respectful. There's also a box in the back of the room. Can everyone please be quiet so we can hear our first speaker?
There's about 50 people outside. Can you turn up the microphones or project?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So the first speaker is Stephen Doyle.
There's some seats right up here if anyone wants to get closer.
Come in.
That's 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's me.
Woo! Yeah.
Are we ready? Wait, before we start, no go with the timer. You gotta make sure you go with the flag. Last night you didn't go with the flag. So you just cut me off now, okay? Don't cut me off tonight. Just kidding. Okay, for the record, my name is Stephen Doyle. I'm a captain in the fire department, and I'm not talking in behalf of the fire department. But at this time, I want to make it, for the record, I oppose any will sanctuary expansion at this time. I've got some information. I'm not going to go through the same ones as I did last night because they told me not to. I've got a letter from Keith Robinson to Westpac, November 15, 2010. Basically, he wants to close off all the islands around his island up to 1 mile, excluding Lihua. Okay? The reason for that is, which I think is because, which I have here in my hand, is the training manuals or training things that they're going to do in Lihua. They want to do 20 and 30 millimeter cannon rounds on top of the live ammo training. Okay? So that's why he excluded that. He also calls fishermen of Kauai environmental rapists. He says that we've devastated and destroyed our own shoreline and near-shore fisheries, which they have done, which we have done. That, in my opinion, is their own business. This is Keith Robinson now. This is a 9-page letter that was sent to Westpac, okay, and Channel 2 News. Also, you folks might not know, he stated in the Star Bulletin in 1997, he's called the Niau people who live there are legally our guests. He's mentioned them as their guests. In return, they are expected to live by certain rules, foremost of which is a ban on speaking out against Robinson's business activities on the island. They have no voice there. That's quoted by the Star Bulletin. Okay? Also, for you who love whales, and I know you folks said that it's not your folks' division, was the fisheries department, but you guys are same hand in hand. Same, okay, you guys give me the job. Ni hao. You guys know that I have their contract, and from 1995 to 2013, they've collected, the Robinsons, $50,159,973.47 from the military. This is their contract. Okay?
Evidence.
This is their contract that we collected. Yeah, they don't pay all my figures making. Okay, I'm done. Thank you.
So the second speaker who signed up is Waimea Canyon School. Manini. I'm trying to, who's the second person that signed up?
Coming up. No, get close.
Madam Chairman, my name is Kunle. They also call me Joe Manili. But I like to use my native name because that's what my parents gave me, a native name. The English name was to go to school, so the teacher could understand my name. I'm not Hawaiian, I'm Kanaka English. I'm a Kanaka native. So I represent the Kanaka Wheelands. You might see my license plate is there on top. And it is of the Kanaka Nation. The Kanaka Nation is composed of the Native Americans, and all of the people down in Polynesia, and a few Hawaiians that call themselves Hawaiians in Hawaii. Actually, the Hawaiians are the Haoles. They are the Hawaiians. They went to Congress so that they could be called the Hawaiians. The reason why some natives think they're the Hawaiians is because these Haoles married into the native families. And they born into them, so they call themselves Hawaiians. But all the other natives, for instance, the Maoris, the Tongans, the Samoans, the Tahitians, the Aitutakins, the Mangaians, Maokeans, Roitians, they all go by, if you ask them, what are you? Are you a native Hawaiian or Kanaka? The first thing they say, I'm a Tongan, or I'm a Maori, and I'm Kanaka English. They won't tell you they're Hawaiian, because they're not. A few people in Hawaii call themselves Hawaiians, and you still get them calling themselves Hawaiian. Carrying a flag all around, but they get some people in Hawaii call themselves Kanaka Maoli, and they won't throw it there. They hold that to the base, okay. According to my deed, we have a deed of the land. I know that the United States does not have jurisdiction over international lands and international waters. This is international lands. And we are in international waters, in a triangle. The triangle is under the Kanaka Maoli, or the Kanaka race. The United States does not own the Polynesian Triangle. And so they do not have jurisdiction in there. Because they cannot go on every island and say, you have to do this or you have to do that, to the Tongans or the Maoris or the Tahitians or whatever. And Hawaii, if you look into the map, it's only a small section. Hawaii is only a small section. Most of the things they're doing is pretending that they can do this and they can do that. For instance, Keith Robinson is one pretender that they were talking about. Because all he has is a lease on the land. He doesn't have any ownership. In fact, the papers came out, I got out the papers and gave them to the people who are suing Robinson and suing the con company right now. There are about 140 homes in Waimea. Okay, but this program that you folks have about the whales been swimming here all the time. We haven't objected to the whales swimming here. And okay, the whales are swimming here all the time. We don't object to that. But we don't want you to make a sanctuary where you put all rules and regulations, and yet you don't even say how it's going to affect the native Kanaka or the native Hawaiian. Because we want to know that, how it's going to affect. It will affect. You mean they have to take the boats way around to fish.
Okay, thank you for your comment.
Last night was 5 minutes.
We have 50 speakers this night.
Okay, well, last night's 5 minutes, now it's not?
We had 18 speakers last night. So
Okay, so you're changing
now we
the
have
amount.
4.5 minutes.
Why?
Okay, next speaker is Stephen Arnold.
Yeah, where was your red thing?
My name is Steve Arnold, and out of respect for everyone else who wants to speak here, I'll keep it real short. I'm against any expansion on the federal level that takes away our state rights and sovereignty rights of the Hawaiians.
Yeah.
The next speaker is Robert Kana, and following that is Ross Cavallis, if you can just be ready. Next speaker is Robert Kana, followed by Ross Cavallis.
My name is Robert Kana, born and raised on the west side of Kauai. Wanted to say I oppose any expansion of any sanctuary over here. Please leave the decisions of our island and state to our elected officials who have been elected by the people of Hawaii to serve as our voice and who knows our concerns more than anyone else in this world.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for your responses, Malia, earlier that you said there would be no effect on locals' fishing activities here on Kauai with the proposed sanctuary. But I think there's a lot of people here because we don't trust what will happen should the federal government take over. And therefore, I strongly oppose any new sanctuaries until I am fully confident that our lifestyle and fishing will not be affected in any way. And should you guys approve a sanctuary, at the end of the day, I will be asking you to come before the council. We'll put a resolution strongly opposing any expanded sanctuaries until we get those answers and the public feels more confident. And we also have a final thing that we can do is that we can ask Governor Ige to not approve of the expanded sanctuary. And a lot of Kauai people, we don't have that trust in the federal government taking over things like sanctuary and affecting our lifestyle. We've been affected by the Newell shearwaters. Our children no longer play night football during September 15 through December because of the shearwaters. And it's not the birds that is the question. The rats and the feral cats are killing most of the birds, but what does the federal government and DNR do about it? Nothing. But instead, they want to focus on the few that die from the lights and the electrical lines. So it's just a strong feeling of distrust for the federal government in coming and telling us, trust us. Nothing is going to happen to you guys. In fact, your island is going to get better. And we listen to you, Malia. We hope and pray that you're telling us, the truth, that we will not be affected, that the island will get better. But I think if that was the case, we wouldn't have all of these people here. Thank you.
Next on the list is Patrick Pereira. Patrick Pereira. Following Patrick will be George Valenti. Following George, just so that you can be prepared, is Solomon Learoux.
Patrick Pereira.
My name is Patrick Pereira. Born and raised on the west side of Kauai. I lived there all my life, except for some schooling on the mainland. Can I ask you a question? Is the whale population thriving?
I don't want to take away from your time.
Is the,
I will answer that after this. You want your time? Yeah.
It is thriving. Is the turtles thriving? Is the monk seals thriving? They all get boundaries. A poor fisherman, the monk seal land over here, as he's fishing swap, he cannot go because there are guys like you watching. And if they do, they get fined. I don't think that's fair. Whenever the federalists put their feet in anything, get trouble. Okay? They say, fishing gonna be open. You're not gonna change nothing. 2 years down the road, something happened. They're changing stuff. And there ain't a damn thing we're gonna be able to do about it. So at this point, I oppose any expansion of any kind of sanctuary you want to put here.
Thank you very much.
George Valente. Just want to say that I oppose any Hawaiian whale sanctuary expansion.
Solomon, followed by Matt Goldsmith.
My name is Solomon Ruiz. I'm a fisherman. I guess what for me, I just see a lot of gray areas that you guys can operate in within that proposal that you guys have. And going back to what Mr. Kagawa said is that there's just a lot of distrust. Personally, I feel that I oppose any real expansion of the sanctuary. Thank you.
Followed by May Field, and then Presley Wong. First it will be Matt Hudson.
Hello everyone, my name is Matt Holden. I'm 21 years old, born and raised in Kickoff. My whole life revolves around the ocean and its resources that we all share. I'm all for sustainable use of our public resources, but I know that putting this sanctuary into effect is not the right way of doing things. I commercially fish with my dad off of Napali, Kaula, and Nihao, putting not only food on my table and paying my bills, but sharing fish with my friends and family in our community. I oppose to the sanctuary because it threatens our culture, livelihood, and passed down traditions. Expanding the sanctuary and putting our state water into the hands of the federal government will only mean more laws, regulations, and restricted areas. The ocean is my life, and so it is to everyone else in this room right now. One day I will be a father, and I will want to be able to share to my keiki and the next generation the same pleasures and pass down the traditions and knowledge that have been passed on to me. Isn't that enough of a reason why, as a community, we would want to sustain our resources? We do not want the feds telling us how to along our ocean. This isn't just our livelihood, it's our way of life. As much as they say this is a humpback sanctuary, whales is not the issue here. It is the feds trying to find a way to reinvent themselves so they can save their jobs. You should be focusing on different environmental issues like preventing and dealing with poison runoff from the GMO cornfields throughout the island, but especially here on the west side, in chemical testing grounds like Waimea, Makawele, and Kamakani. Every time during heavy rains, water flows into our ocean, laying a blanket of silt, poison, Roundup. And it all goes into our ocean, onto our reef. There are many other different environmental issues that happen on land that affect the ocean. You should be focusing on these topics instead of a marine sanctuary. In conclusion of my testimony, we here are all sick and tired of the sanctuary, trying to come in and manage all of our resources. We do not need you here. There's enough testing done on our island. It's time for you guys to head it on and keep state waters in state hands.
Hi, I'm Minkia, born and raised on the west side. I came here for oppose on this extension. We don't need them beyond the island. Sorry. I've been born and raised on the west side. My family fish. We live off the land. You know, I'm a descendant of the people from Nihao as well. So, you know, I'm sorry, but this is not gonna happen on beyond the island.
Presley Wong, followed by Jamie Wallace.
Hello, my name is Presley Wong. I attended last night's meeting in Kilauea. I live in the Moko of Puna. My Kuleana land and family is in the Moko of Halalea, Aopoa. I'm a descendant of the Makainana Lavaya fishermen of Kauai and Ha'ena. My great-great-grandfather, Alexander Halama, was a well-known fisherman. He is mentioned in the song Huamaki. My uncles, Parlachu and Galapo, were also well-known fishermen in Ha'ena. Currently, I'm the president for Hui Makainana in Ha'ena, but I'm here as an independent and person only for myself. We are a nonprofit in Haena, Carroll Farmers in Haena State Park. Also, I spend a lot of time on the west side. Though I cannot speak for the Haena community, and given the shortness of time, I feel that the legal vagueness of the written proposal as it is for the humpback sanctuary expansion, I would like to at least recommend at least status quo or reduction of the sanctuary area due to the rebounding of the humpback whale population. I feel that this proposal has the potential to override the jurisdiction of the state of Hawaii, DLNR, County of Kauai, and its citizens from Mauka to Makai. I know that NOAA employees have good intention, and we all live in the same community, but I don't know if people in the federal government and Washington, D.C. would feel the same way as we do. I challenge the NOAA and federal government to give us success stories before you ask, can you trust us? We in Haena are working to initiate the first Haena community-based subsistence fishing area. Already, the Waimea Whale Sanctuary is halfway in our existing community-based subsistence fishing area. Let the communities and the state regulate their own areas. The state realizes that they need the assistance to manage the areas. We, the communities, can find our own funding to do the science that I don't think it's culturally appropriate that we lump Haena, Hanalei, Nihau, Mauna Bay, and Penguin Banks of Molokai as one issue. I cannot comment on other communities. Finally, when we point a finger, one finger is pointing up to Piakua, one is pointing, you guys gotta do this, you gotta do this, and three is pointing back to us. So us as a community gotta malama our resources. Oh.
Followed by Alona de la Cruz.
Hi, my name is Jamie Wallace. I live on the west side, fish most of my life on the west side. And just like you say, I oppose any expansion or.
Can you get closer? I can't hear you.
I oppose any expansion or review of the regulations.
Alona de la Cruz, followed by Dennis Iguchi. Followed Alona de la Cruz, Dennis Iguchi.
De la Cruz.
Okay. Dennis Iguchi. Buddy, there he is. Hi, Dennis. Followed by Buddy Iadon Sr.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to voice our opinions. Unfortunately, I am in opposition to the expansion of the sanctuary. I do believe that NOAA has their merits, and I'd like to see NOAA play a major role in our education in our communities. I feel that NOAA could do a very good job. If the communities were more educated, you guys would actually help us manage our resources way better. I thank you.
Following Buddy will be Tiffany Parker.
My name is Buddy Ayudan. I hope everybody can hear. The rest of the testimony that you were giving earlier, nearly 75% of the people here couldn't hear you. I don't know, maybe you guys had trouble with the audio, I'm not sure. Or maybe you were speaking too soft. But first of all, hello everybody. I'm just a nobody. I'm now a fisherman. I live on this island. I live in Hawaii. First of all, I want all you to know I oppose the sanctuary.
It's up to you to find out the reasons why. For all the people that oppose. We don't have to give you all the reasons. You just gotta understand that we oppose this. Now I speak for myself and for all the ones that I know feel just like me, but never ever speak up. For years and years, and for the future years to come, all these issues come about. We have all our testimonies come true. Whatever we say, a lot of it is not heard. On top of that, it's slammed down our throats or up our colis, and we go from there. And every day, something else pops up. So for all of them that never ever speaks up and never ever will, because they're not me, I also feel they oppose also. Thank you.
Following Tiffany Parker will be Nina Nanisevich, followed by Amaka Allah.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Parker. I'm going to speak up and say that I oppose any expansion of the whale sanctuary. And all the fishermen and boat captains that go into the area of Niihau, they have the utmost love and respect for that area, and they're going to take care of it.
Aloha, my name is Nina Nanisevich. Thank you for being here and the opportunity to speak. I'm going to be one of the lone voices in the room and say I don't think the sanctuary is doing enough to protect our oceans. As a diver who's been diving in Kauai waters in the entire state for 37 years, the decimation I've seen is beyond catastrophic. We need regulations to protect our resources. Some of the information that's being said by some of the people in this room and on the radio is false information. It's misleading. It's downright not pono to be saying that all these regulations are going to be happening when, in fact, there are no real regulations. Myself and at least one other person in this room and many other people have asked for more regulations because they've been scientifically documented to actually enhance fisheries. Marine protection enhances the health of the oceans. It's not something Noah made up or I made up. It's a scientific fact. We need protection, and we need it now. We need way more resource protection than has been happening. We need the community to be involved. I've read the document. It shows that you have integrated community-based subsistence, Hawaiian values. It's awesome. Sharon Pomeroy would be proud. She put a lot of energy into this. A lot of really Pono Hawaiians have put a lot of energy and intelligence and mana into this document. It would be good if all the people in this room actually read the document to find out that water quality is a huge portion of what is being discussed and what is going to be used, as well as climate change. So I see on some of the handouts here today, you're talking about water quality and climate change are one of the top 3 threats. Well, overfishing is the other top 3 threat. 3 of the 3 threats. I agree, the military is huge, and there's a lot of mistrust, which I'm a part of that mistrust of the involvement with the military. So I think if NOAA really wants to move forward with actual marine protection, you need to be addressing the military's impact on our marine resources, specifically, as everyone in this room knows, acoustic impacts. And again, I would just like to remind the folks in this room, with all due respect, I have been diving here for 37 years. I know I've circumnavigated this entire island by ocean. I love the ocean. I'm here to be a voice for the ocean. And also to make a correction, Malia, I disagree. The whales are not thriving. They're recovering, but they're not thriving. They're at a fraction of what pre-whaling numbers are. Every other species is doing terrible, especially fish species.
Especially the Hawaiian species.
Next we have Maka'ala, followed by Kevin Millett and Bernard Pereira.
Aloha, I am Maka'ala Kaumo and I come from Kaneohe. I currently live in Moku'alele'a. I testify in strong support of Alternative 3 of the Draft Management Plan with the inclusion of the Hanalei Estuary as described in Alternative 4. On behalf of Hui Ho'omalu Ka'aina, this testimony is provided by our organization in support of the NOAA Hawaiian Islands Nakai Iwalu Sanctuary Draft Management Plan. For those who don't know, Hui Ho'omalu Ka'aina is a terror group organization founded in the early 1980s by traditional practitioners of Moku Halere'a to address threats and impacts to the natural and cultural resources of Kauai. Founded by farmers and fishermen, weavers and hunters, we seek to provide context for issues related to the ecology of our agupua'a. The organization is an active advocate for those native things and ways that are disappearing. We are not a nonprofit. We are an activist organization. We do not whine and wait, we act. We have reviewed the draft management plan and the Aloha Aina document that provided guidance for its development and are very encouraged by the foundation of traditional place-based values upon which this plan was built. We are very disappointed that representatives of commercial fishing interests have chosen to use fear and not facts in their comments to this plan and hope that NOAA will see past their limited influence and accept this plan, which is soundly based on the traditions of our island home and heritage, and truly represents ecosystem-based management as it was practiced in Hawaii for over 1,000 years. This is the past informing the present and the hope for our future. We commend the Sanctuary Advisory Council for representing our interests so well. Megaponi.
We have Kevin Millett as our next speaker. Kevin Millett, followed by Bernard Pereira. Oh, sorry, Kevin. Bernard Pereira follows Kevin, and then Isaac Moon.
Good evening, I'm Kevin Millett from Holo Charters, or I own Holo Charters. I strongly oppose the sanctuary expansion. Furthermore, I support ending the current sanctuary and turning it into a purely educational institution. I am a strong believer in meaningful action to protect and improve our environment. That means I support things like the international ban on whaling, which is the meaningful action that has saved the humpback whales and brought back so many of the other whale species. I have asked the sanctuary in public on several occasions, and I ask them again this evening, for all our tax dollars over the last 23 years, how many whales has the sanctuary actually saved as opposed to how many they imply they saved? I expect no direct answer again tonight, but let's be honest, what really saved the whales is the international ban on whaling, not the sanctuary. This new multi-species sanctuary that you are proposing will take credit for saving the sea turtles, which are already abundant thanks to existing laws and enforcement, but it won't do anything for the land-based runoff damage, which is beyond your jurisdiction. It won't do anything to limit the military damage, as you have no authority over the military, and it certainly won't do a damn thing to stop the climate change that is causing Kauai's coral disease. Warm water won't respect lines drawn on a map. The proposed budget in the sanctuary plan is $25 million for 5 years. How about we take that $25 million and put it in the pot to support the state's enforcement and prosecution of existing laws that already protect most everything on the sanctuary list? That would be meaningful. Or if you want to fight climate change, that $25 million would cover at least 2,500 homes with solar panels. There are already very strong laws in place, both state and federal, that completely achieve everything the sanctuary wants to take credit for. Admittedly, enforcement is typically underfunded, but when's the last time you saw somebody barbecuing a sea turtle on the beach, or seen anyone driving down the road with a truckload of coral lately? Just go deliberately herd a whale of any species inside or outside the sanctuary and see how that works out for you. You'll quickly find that the sanctuary boundary doesn't matter. You're still in deep kimchi. In the draft expansion plan, the council never seriously considered whether there should even be a sanctuary. They just realized that the humpbacks should be taken off the endangered species list, and so the sanctuary needed to come up with another reason for its continued existence quick. So hey, let's protect our federal paychecks and make it an everything sanctuary. To me, that sounds like a good way to protect the sanctuary from delisting. This plan is full of headlines like resilience to a changing climate action plan. I read that chapter 3 times and it sort of drove me nuts. It never actually talks about really doing anything except holistic management and preserving cultural heritage and being inclusive of stakeholders, etc., etc. All displayed with lots of random charts. I want to know exactly what you propose to do about the algae blooms or the rising sea level. Yes. Oh, sorry, I didn't see the red. Got a little bit more. May I have 30 more seconds?
Can you also submit those additionally as
Yes.
comments?
Yes, I will. Resilience to a changing climate action plan implies doing something. Like the sanctuary might somehow teach the Corps to resist warming oceans, or that they might somehow keep the warm rising water away. I certainly don't qualify as a scientist, but it seems fairly obvious to me that there's 3 things you can do about climate change in regards to coral. You can reverse the climate change, you can replace the current species, or you can genetically modify the current species to deal with the change. With $25 million in 5 years, which of those 3 items do you think will be accomplished? I'd like to see that clearly stated in black and white in this plan. But, no, I'll stop there.
Bernard Pereira, Isaac Moon. Oh, there's Bernard Pereira, sorry. If the next speakers can line up, there's Isaac Moon, followed by Jason McCoy.
Okay, first of all, I oppose what you guys are doing. I don't believe nothing in what you guys say about the whales. But don't let me go back to livestock. Robinson crying about the OPDs, right? Before I tell my daughter get married, I go down to Kauai, I tell her, hey, I need 200 pounds OPDs. They go for me, how they pick them off. $100 if they want. And down the OPDs, you sell them off. What do people get to eat? Fish. So it's when we feed. And you guys take away from the fishermen, all these. You guys gotta wake up. And one good reason I don't believe the seawater bird. Seawater bird come in land, when it gets storm in the ocean, he go right around the island, he go in the back of the storm, he go back to the ocean. But you guys like $10,000. Even me, I got it. Where the time you get the bird is when you get one football game in Hanapepe. Right by Kauai Electric, they let it go to bird. They leave them, and the bird gets circle around. And then they tell, they take away our hunting rights. And then they come in, they bring guys from the mainland that me and all these guys pay for. The cars, the hotel, the plane fare, and they shoot the birds from the helicopter. They play for the helicopter, they shoot them. Big deal. Anybody can shoot one pig on the ground. And then the pig die in the water. All that goes to Waimea Valley, Kamakane, Hanale, when they shoot all that, they go down to. And where our environment? You guys, environment, you guys get our fire, all that dies. There is no environment. They just baloney. They take 20 trees, Hawaii Court. What do you do up there? And then the Sahara Club put fences all over our land. Well, we're our environment again. Stay home. Oh, I forgot. They get the envelope, they count. Any, money, home. Huh? What do you think about that? And then you like me believe this? No way. Because when that land, that ocean is not man-made. It's nature. Nobody owns nature, not even the rivers. Because I got caught in the river hunting in Robinson, and I jumped in the river. And you know what? This time came down. I don't want to look at it. I jumped in, and you know what I can do? You can go home. Nobody owns the river. You can walk on the river line. How they can own the ocean? When they did do get a bundle of poppies and fish. They're going to go there and take up for that shelf and give the rich. And the fishermen lose. And you know why we lose, fishermen? Our politicians not backing us up. They're knocking us down. That's why we're here today.
We have 20 more speakers to go through. So this is Isaac Moon, followed by Jason McCoy. Isaac Moon, followed by Jason McCoy, and then Norman Collins.
To the lady that said that they need their help, the lady they need help from Noah. What about all the Hawaiians that cannot grow taro because they cannot shoo one bird away that is federally protected? Thousands of pounds of taro every year cannot be harvested or planted because of one bird.
Isaac, can you please take it?
Everybody here is people of the community. You guys is the community. You guys don't want nothing invested in this. You guys not getting promised anything. Everybody here, nobody getting nothing out of it. All the guys you meet with, get something in it for them. Anybody over here in favor of the Whale Sanctuary expansion? Raise your hand. 2 people. They probably get something involved with it. Anybody else not like the Whale Sanctuary? Raise your hand. Nobody like them? These are the people that you ask for their advice. Every 5 years, this management plan review goes through. Every 5 years, you gotta crap your pants wondering if you're gonna lose something. One landowner meet with them and they wanna add a different Robinson meet with them, let's put the whole Robinson. Hotels meet with them, let's put the hotels. 13 families meet with them, let's put that. Bill Gates and Big Island meet with them, let's add them. That makes sense to you? Every 5 years, you gotta be worried you're gonna lose your rights. Who requests the new boundaries? The landowners. The Hawaii needs the federal government to help them protect the islands. Sorry, I said shaking, I'm nervous, but I'm mad. We had 7,000 petitions. This lady told us was 5,000. Was hand-delivered because they said it was due on the 19th or whatever it was. The 19th was on Saturday. So we asked them, what about Friday? Do they have to be taken by you guys? Yes, we have to file them, we have to receive them for them to come. Friday was a holiday. They were flown up, delivered by hand to be counted, and it's only counted as one. 200 people put a request for me now, which was all Bruce. They get the whole entire island, but you guys, 7,000 people, nothing. And you only get 3 minutes. I probably got a yellow flag on red flag, but you get 3 minutes every 5 years for fight. Well, you get 3 minutes for fight what you believe in every time. They're gonna meet the who they like me, but the people that actually in the community fish, use them, you guys don't get input. Nobody here, like I said, is paid, nobody getting nothing out of it. This is the community. And water quality, how you gonna fix that? HEPA filters in the water. How is the North federal government gonna fix that? You guys not even fix nothing. You ask Noah for your help, you guys will get screwed. I oppose 100%. Remember, one bird, thousands of pounds of taro every year lost because of one federally protected any goose. And we're not going to lose our rights.
The next speaker is Jason McCoy, followed by Norman Colley.
I'd like to thank my community for being here, you guys. Mahalo. My name is Jason McCoy. I'm a father, a fisherman, and a captain of those waters in this community. And I oppose to any new expansion proposed around any of the Hawaiian islands. You'll be able to read all my comments on the website. Mahalo.
So it's Norman Colley, followed by Jackie Connor, followed by Greg Holton.
Isaac, mahalo to Isaac and Uncle Bernard for riling up the crowd. Thank you. Thank you, Auntie, for talking to us. My name is Norman Kali. I was born and raised on the west side. I oppose any expansion of the sanctuary. First of all, to the anti-diver who said the fish population is decimated, call me, I will show you some spots. The expansion might not have anything restricting fishing now, but once the federal government is in, it's very hard to get them out. Remember that. Especially all you brothers out there watching from the outside who not going to testify. You guys going to be watching from the beach when you guys not can go out there and fish. I was like you guys before, never like talk, never like go do nothing. This is my first one right here. Just gotta break the ice. Brother from Samoa said Noah came in, told him, hey, no worry, only one small area, less than quarter square miles. Now say 13,000 square miles they not can go. Brother from Alaska said Noah came into his hometown, told him, no worry, couple years down the road, everything lock up. When you guys come to us and say, hey, no worry, everything will be fine, we're not going to take away any of your fishing. It's not what you guys doing right now, it's what can happen in the future, and it's what you guys gotta do. You guys gotta convince all these guys over here. For every one person over here, there are about 100 in the community that is with them. They're just lazy for drive out here, just like me before this day. I don't like somebody far away who don't even know when it's corner crab season tell me when and where I can drop my nets. I'm gonna tell my boy when for throwback appeals, just like my father told me and his father told him. Mahalo.
Jackie Connor, followed by Greg Holtzman. Is there a Jackie Connor? Okay, next, Greg Holtzman. Following Greg would be Reggie Agree.
How many more you got? Can I ask how many more people you got?